Auzubillahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Heartiest congratulations to all my brothers and sisters in faith on the birth anniversary of our 10th Imam, Imam Naqi alayhi salam. Our beloved Imam was born on the 15th of Zulhijjah in the year 212 after Hijrah in the holy city of Medina. He is the beloved grandson of Imam Ali Raza alayhi salam and the son of Imam Muhammad Naqi alayhi salam and Bibi Sumana Khatun. When Imam Muhammad Naqi alayhi salam was martyred by the tyrant ruler Mu'tasim Billah Abbasi, Imam Naqi alayhi salam was only 6 years old. He lived his life under the rule of 6 Abbasid caliphs. After Imam Muhammad al-Jawad was poisoned, Imam al-Hadi lived in Medina where he remained for several years. Although the Abbasid rule had been cruel under Mu'tasim, the levels of oppression increased drastically under the Abbasid ruler Mutawakkil. In the face of political and intellectual challenges, Imam al-Hadi stood with wisdom and fortitude. I would like to narrate a short incident from the life of Imam al-Hadi alayhi salam. On a dark night, Mutawakkil's guards stormed Imam al-Hadi's residence. Word had reached the Abbasid ruler that weapons and letters from royal supporters were hidden in the holy Imam's house. The guards barged in and searched the premises for any sign of dissidence. They initially found nothing of the sort, but then the guards opened the door of a closed-off room only to find the holy Imam. Their gazes rested upon the devout master, who was dressed in wool, sitting on the sand and gravel, and directing himself toward the Almighty while reciting the verses from the Holy Scripture. Reminded of their orders, the guards carried Imam al-Hadi off to Mutawakkil. We did not find anything in his house, and we found him facing the Qibla, reading the Quran, explained the guards. Mutawakkil had been drinking alcohol when the holy Imam was brought before him. The corrupt ruler offered the holy Imam his drink. Imam al-Hadi refused by saying, "By God, never has it mixed with my flesh and blood at all, so excuse me." The corrupt ruler accepted. Then he demanded, "Recite poetry for me." Imam al-Hadi replied, "I narrate little when it comes to poetry." But Mutawakkil insisted. Therefore the holy Imam recited the following lines of poetry as a reminder for those who would wish to be reminded. They stayed on the beds of mountains while guarded by the overpowering among men, yet these beds did not save them, and they were brought down after glory from their fortresses. Then they were deposited into holes. What terrible stay! A screaming caller yelled out to them after they were buried, "Where are the beds, the crowns and the wardrobes? Where are those faces that used to be pampered? Before them veils and wreaths were drawn down." The grave then spoke out on their behalf, as the screaming caller asked them, "Those faces are what worms fight over. So long did they eat, but after having eaten for so long, they are now being eaten. And for so long they built houses to guard them, but they departed the houses, the families, and moved on. And for so long they treasured wealth and saved it, but they left it behind for their enemies and travelled on. Their homes have become neglected wasteland, as the original inhabitants have gone to the graves." Historians note that Mutawakkil was touched by this poem and started to cry, as did those present. But even so, the corrupt ruler failed to mend his ways. Imam al-Hadi was eventually poisoned by the Abbasid ruler Mu'taz. The holy Imam attained martyrdom on the 3rd of Rajab 254 after Hijrah. The Holy Imam lived his life for 42 years and his period of Imamat was for 34 years. The Holy Imam was buried at his residence in Samarra, Iraq. Imam al-Hadi's following words call for insightful contemplation on the topic of death. They specifically discuss the way to think of this world and the next. Indeed, God has made this world an abode of trials and the year after an abode of outcome. He made the trials of this world to be a cause for the reward of the year after, and the reward of the year after to be a compensation for the trials in this world. Think of your death in the arms of your family, while no doctor can stop you from dying, and no loved one can do you any good. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the name of Imam al-Hadi alayhi salam to hasten the reappearance of his last hujjat, ajalallahu ta'ala farajahu sharif. Allahumma ajil waliyik al-faraj. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajahu.